Hello Leo, and welcome to your April 2023 astrology forecast. Now this video is for Sun, Moon, Rising, Leo. Now Leo, April is an interesting month. But before we get into that, my website is linked down below if you'd like a reading, as well as a link for appreciation of these videos. So let's get into April. In April, we have a solar eclipse, and eclipses are powerful points of transformation as that energy takes us into the next 6 months. So eclipses are a time where we can feel a bit chaotic and new things will come up for us to work on going forward into the next 6 months. And that's how powerful they are. Eclipses are 2 weeks apart. So we're having a solar eclipse this month, and then in May, we're going to have a lunar eclipse. So be prepared for this time of transformation. During eclipse like cycles, it's important to be very much aware of our energy, what we are doing, what we were saying, because we can get into accidents and so forth like that, mishaps, misunderstandings, conflicts. It brings a lot of upheaval and change. And during this eclipse cycle, we will also be going through a Mercury retrograde. Now, Mercury is a planet that rules over communication, our mental intellect, how we express ourselves, our mind, what we are thinking about, and also vehicles, as in transportation, technology. So during the Mercury retrograde period, it's important to be aware of that we can be met with more delays, right? And that can cause us to be more frustrated, which can lead to conflict and misunderstandings. So be aware of the Mercury retrograde period so that when we have awareness is power, so that we don't react to situations. We understand, oh, this is Mercury retrograde. It's not going to last forever. People from the past can come back into our lives. As Mercury retrograde can bring people from the past, we can think about past experiences. This will be a time where you want to pull out your baby album and start going through photos. All those past experiences can come through during a Mercury retrograde period. And the miscommunication and misunderstandings happen at this time where we are not mentally really thinking. We're under a mental fog and our minds are in the past. So when expressing ourselves to others, we could be expressing ourselves from a past experience or trauma, or we are not fully aware of what we're saying. We're just saying whatever because we just mentally got so much on our mind. Our computer froze, things like that. So back up all your information. We can lose information during a Mercury retrograde. I've also found Mercury retrograde to be very revealing about the truth. So there's something you don't know, secrets can come out during a Mercury retrograde period. It likes to give us information that's held back from us, so we can get information during this time. Great for completing any projects or something that you've been working to prior to the Mercury retrograde. So you can sign a contract, but if you're working on that project that you will want to sign a contract for before, I will still recommend that you reread and fully understand what you are getting into. Don't start anything new during a Mercury retrograde. Don't decide all of a sudden you want to move in with a friend during a Mercury retrograde period. If you wanted to move long ago, fine. But if you all of a sudden during the Mercury retrograde want to move at that time, it generally is something that can be very haphazard, and later we can have regrets and want to change the situation once Mercury is done with its retrograde, which will be on the 14th of May. Now on the 3rd, we have Mercury in your 10th house of April. This is all about communication. Your words have power. People that are in authority are willing to listen to you at this time. This is a time where you'll be thinking about your goals, your career, how you can basically challenge yourself within your life to achieve those goals. You'll be thinking, what can I do? What do I want to do when it comes to my career? You can also be signing contracts, negotiating, having emails when it comes to your goals, personal to you, or even your career, where you can get information, feedback, so forth. You might have a lot more communication when it comes to your work life all of a sudden, right? Really good for that. And you also have the opportunity to step up and be a leader at this time as your reputation is highlighted. So be aware of that. What you say during this time, people are very aware of it. Your words carry a lot of power at that time. On the 5th, 6th, we have a full moon in your 3rd house. This is again where you are releasing heavy mental thoughts, especially thoughts that have been keeping you back, keeping you stifled. You'll be clearing out your mind. You'll also be looking at your relationships and how you're communicating within those, and how are those people communicating with you. Where do you need to establish boundaries? What needs to change within your relationships when it comes to your communication and expression, and not only for you, but for those expressing and communicating to you. This is a really good time with this full moon where you can complete anything that you've been learning, right? Or any writings you've been doing. It's a great time to journal. During this full moon, you can get communication coming through to you from, people want to communicate with you a lot during this full moon. You might be finding yourself busy communicating with others a lot. So just be aware of that. But this full moon also offers you a time of releasing a lot about communication. So be aware of that. On the 11th, we have Venus entering into this 11th house. This is really good for where you want to connect to friends. You want to connect to various social circles. Great for parties, great for events, wanting to get out and meet people. You're really having a good time. Venus loves to have a good time. The 11th, we want to spend time with loved ones. We want to spend time with friends. We want to socialize. We want to be out there. You also want to find passion and have passion for your future vision that you have for yourself. On the 19th, 20th, we have the solar eclipse in the 9th house. Excellent energy. Like I said, this takes you into the next 6 months. Now, this solar eclipse is a new beginning on your higher education and what you want to learn. You might be thinking about learning something completely new. The 9th house has to do with expansion, wisdom, growth, especially when it comes to what we want to go after in order to learn. You can meet people from different places in the world right now via the internet even, or whether you physically go there to travel. You'll be thinking about traveling, making travel plans. All of this energy is asking you for expansion and growth. How do we grow and expand? We grow and expand by things that we learn, yes. So you might think of taking up a course, reading this book that's going to shift your belief systems. Or you could also learn something through the people that you meet, people from foreign places, different places from you, people that you haven't connected to, and now you are connecting to different people from you. And this also helps you with expansion and growth. When we connect to people different from us, it's where our mind expands and we get different perspectives and different belief systems start forming within us through our experiences. The 9th house is great for having experiences. It's really asking you to have an adventure, travel, expand, grow. What do you want to learn? And learning is really good for the mind. So this can expand your mind through actually reading or writing something, or you can actually have a period of growth through an experience where you physically go out and do something different than you haven't done before, but you have an adventure. And this energy takes you over the next 6 months where you're incorporating this into your world of freedom. You're looking for freedom. This new moon will show you where you haven't been feeling free and how can you have that sense of adventure. On the 20th, the sun moves into your 10th house. This is really motivating you when it comes to your career, your goals. And this is important because next month in May, Jupiter will also be impacting your career and goals. So yeah, with the sun, you're very motivated to your career, your goals, and so forth like that. You're really going after it. By the 21st though, we have Mercury retrograde in this 10th house until the 14th of May. This can bring a lot of miscommunication with employers, authority figures, even parents, anyone that's in authority over you. And if you have a dominating partner or in a relationship like that, all of a sudden you'll feel that they are trying to have the power over you. So it can bring up a lot of miscommunication when it comes to authority figures, that being employers, teachers, anyone that's in authority over you. So be aware of your communication. This 10th house energy with Mercury retrograde is having you rethink your career, the choices you're making when it comes to your goals, and also your reputation. Your reputation is highlighted. So remember I said early in the month, what you say, people will be watching you, listening to you, right? 10th house highlights reputation. This is where your reputation comes into, where people might be rethinking your reputation or saying that maybe you come off in a certain way, So be prepared for that, not to take it personally and like, oh my goodness, this is how I'm coming off. See if it's within reason or if it's just someone starting something with you, because in Mercury retrograde, people tend to want to start conflicts and everyone's mind is on their past experience. So sometimes they could be projecting onto you. So be prepared for that. But ultimately, it's bringing conflict to you and conflicting interest in energy to your career, your goals and your reputation. This will be a time when it comes to your career, you might be thinking about changing careers. You might be thinking about something you've done in the past, and maybe now you want to reincorporate this into your career life. You will be thinking about that over the next couple of weeks. So you'll be thinking about your career. What did I study? What did I learn? Do I want to go back to that old job? Or do I want to go back to that old, not even job, maybe I was in that field and now I want to go back to that field. You'll be thinking a lot along those lines. You'll be thinking a lot about your goals, right? And how can you achieve your goals more easily? What's been holding you back? What past experience will be holding you back? People from work, from people you've worked with before might come back into your life at this time. But this is creating more, when Mercury retrograde there is a slowdown and finding more delays and challenges when it comes to actually achieving your goals, and not only just achieving your goals, but also your reputation and career. Understand this, you can complete anything that you've been working on when it comes to your career. So this has been something you've been working on, you get the reward with Mercury retrograde for what you've been working on. So it's not all bad and doom and gloom, no. It's telling you what you've been working on previously before the Mercury retrograde, you can reach that reward for it, you'll be getting the acknowledgement for it. It highlights in a good way there. But if maybe you've been conflicted prior, this just adds to your conflict, but it'll be giving you the opportunity to look back to see how you want to move forward. Be understanding with this Mercury retrograde in your 10th house. Okay, and I suggest that you be understanding with it because, like I said, Jupiter will be in May impacting your career in a more beneficial way to you. So do like and subscribe, and I'll be talking more about that in your May video. Wishing you a beautiful April. Thank you so much for watching.